Good afternoon and welcome to Ask Luis. Today's webinar will be about the master's degree on corporate finance. My name is Francesco Pierocchi, and here we have Professor Raffaele Oriani, who teaches advanced finance at Luis, and Miss Patrizia Micucci, who is a senior advisor at Neuberger Berman. We're also joined by two students who are interested in the course. Professor, would you like to give us a presentation about the degree?
Yeah, so thanks a lot. I will be very short, so to leave some time for questions. This is a new master program in corporate finance. It is being designed in order to address a specific need in the job market that has to do with the corporate finance. And it was designed in order to create the competencies to work in this field, in particular in different areas that I will describe in a moment. The pillar of this course have to do with financial evaluation, M&A, equity and debt, capital markets, risk management, asset pricing, and derivatives. The students of this course should aspire after this course to work both within corporations and within investment banks and investment funds. In particular, as then you can see from the program of the course, you see that there are two specializations that you can take as a student. One has to do with financial management, so more oriented to the corporations, and the other is related to investment banking and financial advisory. When we talk about financial management, we talk basically about the corporate finance department of large corporations, where basically work in the area that is led by the chief financial officer. But this course is not only about corporation. This course is also to do with the corporate finance that is performed within the banks and other financial institutions. And in particular, within the investment banks in the investment banking division, where you have the M&A transactions, but you also have the operations on the capital markets, in particular on the equity and debt markets, where you have the issues of new securities and where basically banks are involved in helping the corporation to reach out the financial market. But also the investment funds and in particular the private equity funds that invest typically in equity of private firms. As we'll have the possibility to probably go to further explain in this webinar, the corporate finance is different from other jobs that are in the finance world. Basically, this course does not refer in particular to the activities of asset management, trading, hedge funds. Is not very much focused on one side. So on the other side, is not much focused on controlling and accounting. And this is something that probably we can talk more about later. And I think that I'm clearly open to take the questions from the students here and from the students that are attending the webinar. But I think that in order to better understand what is the potential job that you can take after this master's degree, we can ask to Patrizia Micucci, that is here, that has had her entire career in the investment banking division. Now she's working for a private equity fund. She has been the CEO of a large bank. And so she had really an experience that is in line with the contents of this course. And so I will ask Patrizia, and Patrizia, by the way, is also an alumna of this university, so this makes her presentation even more interesting. So I will ask Patrizia to tell us about what has been her experience, her professional career, and what is basically the content of the job she has done so far.
Thank you. So I mean, I am a Luis alumni. I graduated many years ago, and I started as an assistant professor, Professor Di Lazzaro, that was the president of the Economia e Commercio. And after I started to work at Lewis Business School, that was just a startup. Anders Cognamiglio was, he was in charge of Credito and Finanza. So at a certain point, they decided to send a couple of students to take an MBA in order to gather some competencies and launch an MBA at Lewis. So I went, I took an MBA at New York University and never came back. In fact, I started my career at Lehman Brothers in New York into investment banking. Investment banking, definition is can be different from various points of view, because the big U.S. investment banks, they have also the trading department, which is very big, very profitable, and actually was the cause of the big crisis. On the side, they have what we call investment banking, which is more merger and acquisition, equity issue, or debt issue. So everything that relates to the financing or the growth of a company, internal or through acquisitions. So I started in merger and acquisition, which of course is the basic of formation, because I mean you see every aspect of the transaction that are made by a company, because if the company, first of all, you have to you share the strategy, with the CEOs, because I mean, is the usual question is, do I need to do an acquisition, or it's better if I do the investment on my own, I grow by external or internal, and that's also, some analysis that you have to provide in terms of, if they decided that they want to do the acquisition. The other thing is how this will have an impact on my balance sheet, is sustainable from the point of view of my ratio debt to equity, and so and at that point you have to decide in which form you want to finance the acquisition, so to structure with percentage with that, and if there is a percentage with equity, you have to also address the capital markets and raise the money. So I mean this gives you and usually in the life of a company there is also always something extraordinary that needs to happen. That's, I mean, in a cynical way, if you are a banker and have a client, you alwas can provide some solution, because I mean the trend varies. So there are times where the stock market or the investors, they want to see diversification. And so the company, in order to have an equity story which is sustainable or whatever, they acquire, they diversify, they integrate the production, etc. There are other points where they want to increase focus. So you have all the concentration on core business, and they sell all the less relevant. The nice thing is that you really have the possibility to create a strong relationship with the client, which is your asset in a way, because I mean all these transactions are extraordinary in the lifetime of a company, so, and also involve decision making at very high level. So I mean if you are, I don't know, in sales, you need with the commercial director. If you work in M&A, corporate finance, your counterpart is the CEO or the board, and that's of course you can also going up in your careers are pretty quick, because it's very consuming in terms of the effort that you have to put into this job. So you become senior. Normally you can become a partner in 10 years, which is a relative short period of time. However, you know, because you are Italian, and to become partner in your career, you have to bring value, no? And to bring value, you know, what you're bringing at the table. Either you have a geographical focus, no? And at that point you can work in Italy because I mean, you have your specialties, quote unquote, is the knowledge of your own market. And because, I mean, you cannot be an expert in telecommunication or in food and beverage because the single country are not so deep, no, in terms of, so if you rather say, I really like this kind of industry, no, you should consider that you need to make a career more internationally, and so work in the hub, work in the London hub, or now with Brexit, whatever it's going to be, or work in the New York hub. Or the same if you want to specialize in a product, no, which is definitely something that you will know from your attitude, because I mean not everyone has the client skills, no, but you are more technical and you want to focus in a product. The same if you want to have an experience, a career in debt capital market or equity capital market, that's a European global market. And the same, you need to take in account that if you want to progress, you have to be available to stay in London or Paris or whatever.
Thank you very much, Patrizia, and of course, thank you, Professor. Speaking of career, let me introduce to you our students, Antonio and Sara. I think they recently graduated from their bachelor's degree.
Congratulations.
And I believe they are interested in pursuing a career, well, an academic career at the moment in corporate finance. And I think they have a question for you. So, Antonio, would you like to go on?
Yeah. I would like to understand what's the main difference between this master degree and the one in administration, finance, and control.
Yeah, so the two master degrees have some overlap, but they are also clearly different, in the sense that the corporate finance master is targeting companies, but not only, and is clearly coming out from the experience that Patrizia was telling about, is also something that has to do with banks and investment funds. So corporate finance has to do with mergers and acquisitions, security issues, business valuation. This is something that as a financial analyst you can perform both on the side of the firm where you work or on the side of the bank or the investment fund for which you work. So whereas the other master degree in administration, finance, and control is very much focused on the firm and less on the advising part and investment banking part. Second, clearly these masters go much more in depth into corporate finance. So it's more quantitative, there is more risk management, there is an attention to derivatives that are becoming increasingly used by corporations for risk management purposes, and they need to be evaluated for several reasons. Whereas the master's degree in administration, finance, and control involves more planning and control, more accounting, more financial statements. So in this sense, is more focused on the corporation, broader approach on what is the whole area of administration, finance, and control within a firm, but less focusing on issues related to M&A, business valuation, and capital market transactions that are still of interest to the firm, but also to other subjects.
Okay, thank you.
Sara, your turn.
So I would like to know what are the main international opportunities offered by this master course, and which one would you suggest the most?
Well, as you know, this course has some institutional opportunities. In sense that this course offers the students to participate in 2 double degree programs. And in particular, this course offers the opportunity to enter into double degree program with Cass Business School of London and with Fudan Business School in Shanghai. And moreover, it also gives the students the possibility to enter into the QTEM network, that is a network of several worldwide universities where the students can spend 2 semesters over the 2 years of his master program. So these are, let's say, the institutional opportunities, but on the other side, as Patrizia was clearly saying, when you talk about corporate finance, you are automatically thinking about a global market. And not by chance, Patrizia started a career in New York, that clearly is one of the financial hub, but it could be anywhere. And or even if you start in Italy at some point, if you want to grow from a professional point of view, you need to go abroad. So basically, this is a course that should prepare you to a global career, a global life. And also the professors are either clearly are all international professors, they're both academics and professionals, and they're either Italian or foreigner, but all of them had an international background, both in terms of previous studies, professional careers, and so on. So this is a course that is a global projection, and because corporate finance is basically global and it's clearly standardized over the world. So when you work on M&A transactions, a part of the specificities of the capital markets, the steps are more or less the same, the activities are very similar, and so that's a global industry. And wherever you will work, basically you will have the competences. This course is, let's say, internationalization and global attitude in its DNA, a part of the institutional collaboration that the Lewis University has already in place.
Thank you very much, Professor. We have a question from Facebook, Roberto, who says that he hears about big data a lot and their role in creating value for customers. So he wonders if there is a relation between big data and corporate finance, and if yes, if there are courses about this subject in the master program.
Yes, so this is a very good question. Increasingly, so big data are clearly becoming a hot topic, and if you look at reports and studies, it's very clear that if there is someone taking the responsibilities of big data within corporation, this is the CFO, because by nature he has the instruments, the tools to manage the data. And that's why we have introduced a new elective in the course that is financial econometrics, that for those that are interested in quantitative side of data, of data analysis, is a course that offers also these additional tools that could be clearly useful to perform data analysis and work on big databases.
Thank you very much once again for this very useful information. As you know, we have collected some questions from prospective students, or generally speaking, people who are interested in the master's degree. I've got one here that says, this is somebody who's very interested in the M&A sector. And could you please tell us something more about the courses focused on M&A?
Yeah, so clearly here, what I would like to stress on this point is that, as Patrizia was saying before, and probably I will ask her to say more on this, is that M&A are very complex, like comprehensive transactions where you basically see all the aspects that are relevant for corporate finance. So clearly here there is a specific course on M&A and investment banking that looks at the technicality of the operation, but clearly if we talk about M&A, we have an issue that has to do with the financial evaluation, so that's why there's a financial evaluation course. And then there is a course of cases in business law, because in order to understand how to organize the operation, you need to understand what are the basic legal principles and the contracts that you need to write in order to close the transaction. Clearly, you will not be a lawyer, but you need to understand the work of the lawyer. So let's say that there is a specific course focused on M&A, but basically all the courses of this master's degree have to do on with the work that you will have to do in order to close an M&A deal. I don't want to, I don't know.
You're right. I mean, you can start. No, you need to know the basic, and that's for sure. No, are going to be in the course. So you learn how to do a discounted cash flow, analyze a company, do the various methodology, the multiple, the etc. But this, I mean, this is how to also do a consolidation, you know, and to calculate the impact if you put two companies together, you know, how to structure the financing, which impact that this is going to have on the accounting, if it's accretive from earning per share point of view, it's creating value from the shareholders, etc., etc. This is the easy part, no? After, you know, all the transaction and where you learn the job, because I mean, there are also these soft skills that are only you learn by doing, no? Which are negotiation strategy and you know, how also if you have to do M&A, you buy 100% is something. If you buy a minority or a majority, you know how to structure all the shareholders agreement in order to protect, no, over time. So it's a very interesting, no, job, because you really have no, in your hand, no, the future of the success of a company, and you really have the possibility, no, to look at all the aspects, you know, that are, you know, not only running numbers, no, but also develop a sense of the synergies and know the impact in future if this transaction. And as I said, because you also work with very top management, that's an incredible asset, no, that you have, because only by participating, you know, in these meetings, etc., you start learning something that no school or no course is. Sorry, professor. No. Yeah.
I think this is very interesting, because I would like to stress something that I have not said so far. Clearly, each transaction, M&A transaction, is a different case.
Yes, a different case.
And the subjects that are involved are different. It can be minority, majority. So there are many different variables. That's why this course is, all the courses within this master program have a hands-on approach. That means that we don't just teach the students what an M&A is, but we use a lot of case study approach, and we involve the students in real cases. We have several professors that are professionals, that they come to the class with many years of experience in the field. So the idea is to bring the students to think anytime they will be involved in a process like this in their future career, what should they do? What are the problems? How should they solve them? What are the alternatives? What are the solutions? All these with a very practical approach. So clearly, this is a master's degree that should prepare the students to be ready for the job and the position they will take. And so the whole course is characterized by a very practical and hands-on approach, and a lot of the use of a lot of cases and the analysis of real situations.
If I can add something in terms of how exciting is this, just compared with consulting. For example, the main difference are, first of all, investment banking is a real international world. So even if you work in Milan, as I did most of my career, you interact on a daily basis with your colleagues, no, in London, New York, because as you said, that the market is global, so you need to understand what's happening, no? And that's not the same for consulting, because even if McKinsey or Bain, they have offices, global offices, the Italian work on Italian situation, and you know, there is much less interaction, real interaction. And the other thing, that depends on how your personality. I like to do something and move next, no? And but when I do something, I want to see the result. And you see the result because if you do an IPO of a company, you read on the, no, it's concrete, no, results. You see, no, this is listed, the shares trading or the debt is trading, no? Consulting, you do all these paper, graph studies, and if they implement what you're saying, it's not going to be you, no? And so, I mean, it also depends on the way you, no, what motivates you to move on, no? And
thank you very much. I think you've answered to all our questions. So I would like to say thank you to Professor Patrizia, the students, and of course the audience. And remember, next webinar will be Tuesday on the 27th, and we will discuss about the Masters in International Relations. So thank you for following, and goodbye.